behind bars. First tonight on Our News Weekend, a 28-year-old man is in police custody tonight for allegedly attempting to kill a woman he knows. We've got details from the harrowing tale coming up. Plus, prepare now. As meteorologists forecast an active hurricane season, one financial institution is explaining why you need to protect your assets and property before it's too late. And our For the Love of Brunch series is back. Our Danielle Miller is joined by a guest tonight who takes you to a restaurant that promises good food and breathtaking views. Our News, the weekend edition, starts right now. Welcome to Our News, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Berthany McDermott. A 28-year-old man is in police custody tonight as police probe an alleged attempted murder late Friday night. Police tell us a 34-year-old woman was at her Blue Hill Road South home when she was reportedly attacked by a man she knew. The woman was taken to hospital where she remains in critical condition. Investigations into this matter are ongoing. Meanwhile, it was a celebratory moment at the Bahamas Department of Corrections as 7 officers, once chief officers, were officially elevated to the ranks of Assistant Commissioner of Corrections. Gregory Isaacs Williams, Philip David Hanna, Stephanie Pratt, Monique Greenslade, Rolene Forbes, Foster Ferguson, and posthumously Bradley Ramey now carry one of the institution's highest ranks. For the first time in the department's history, 3 women have ascended to the high-ranking posts. It's a milestone, years in the making, and one celebrated by Commissioner of Corrections, Don Clare. He says the appointments mark a shift for the department.
These are not promotions. These are appointments. Appointment simply means that the person in the chair, he can say to the Prime Minister and to the Minister, Minister, I feel comfortable with this particular person. I feel comfortable with that particular person. I don't feel comfortable with that next person. That's the right of an appointment. It is done in the police force, defense force, and here the same way. So, for those who did not get it, calm down, behave yourself, you're being watched.
BDOX now has 11 assistant commissioners for its nearly 1,700 inmates. But while Thursday's appointments were historic, National Security Minister Wayne Munro didn't shy away from addressing a painful reality: the slow pace of public service promotions.
Since I've taken this chair, it is a crying shame that the strictures of the public service has resulted in the promotion of, I think, 3 or 4 correctional officers, and it ended up being posthumously, because you start when the person is alive, and the public service process takes so long that sometimes people pass away before they can get the rank. The only solace is that it's generally effective back to a particular date.
As the 2025-2026 budget debate got underway this week, Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell shockingly revealed he was diagnosed with pneumonia and bronchitis. But despite warnings from doctors and his family, Mitchell still showed up to Parliament to second the Prime Minister's contribution this week. Mitchell admitting he's in what he called a creative struggle with loved ones over his decision to still attend the session.
Since then, being diagnosed with bronchitis and pneumonia. And so I'm now, despite the fact that I have a pneumonia vaccine. And so you're on this course of medication, and thus I said this creative struggle with my family now about what the heck are you doing here? Why don't you stay? My sister used some choice words, which I can't repeat here. But that's the situation.
Mitchell shared how his medical ordeal began during a recent trip to St. Kitts. While walking through a puddle, he slipped. That's when he says he heard a bone crack. And according to Mitchell, things took a turn for the worse from there. As he returned to the Bahamas, he began experiencing swelling in his leg, which prompted him to seek medical attention in the U.S.
First of all, going to the public facility in St. Kitts, which was facilitated by the St. Kitts government. And then I landed in Miami, and I noticed my leg swelling up. So I referred to the doctors in Nassau. They say, get to the emergency room straight away. Ultrasound is done. Turns out you got a blood clot, so now you're on something called Eliquis, which, by the way, costs $700 a prescription. Most astounding thing. I mean, I almost dropped out of my chair when I heard that.
We're just days into the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, and experts are sending the same message: prepare now. Residents across the Bahamas are being urged to get ready before a storm is on the radar, as hurricane season have become increasingly unpredictable and severe in recent years. Vice President of Group Head of Investment at RF Bank and Trust, David Slatter, is also encouraging homeowners to take storm prep seriously, especially when it comes to protecting their assets and property. He says one of the most important steps is making sure you're covered.
If you're not insured and you do have the ability to perhaps add some insurance, now's the time to do it, because once a hurricane or a storm gets close enough, you can't add insurance to your home. Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things that's to a great extent totally out of our control. We have to keep our fingers crossed and hope that we don't get hit by a major hurricane. What can I say? So if you have the ability to insure, I would recommend you have some insurance in place. If you're fortunate enough to be very wealthy and you can self-insure, then you're not worried about it. But for the rest of us, we need to make sure we have some insurance over our properties.
Meanwhile, the Bahamas Air, Sea and Rescue Association, also known as BASRA, is urging boaters to make safety a priority. The warning comes as several recent marine accidents have highlighted the risk on Bahamian waters. In some cases, BASRA crews were called to rescue stranded or injured individuals. Disaster Preparedness and Hurricane Response Director Captain Cameron Gibson says preparation starts before leaving the dock.
Your journey starts before you even launch your boat. So before you go out, check the weather forecast, ensure that there are no marine advisories before you go out. We highly encourage you to create a sail plan and let someone know where you're going. So your sail plan should include the type of vessel you're going on, how many people are on board, the type of life-saving equipment that you have on board, your destination, and the time you're expected to be back. And always keep in communication with someone when you leave and when you get back.
And when it comes to what you should have on board, Gibson says basic equipment can make a life-saving difference.
You should have a VHF radio on board no matter what size of boat that you have. Even if you don't have a fixed one, you can go on Amazon and buy a VHF portable radio and stay in communication on VHF channel 16, which is the International Hailing and Distress channel.
When our news weekend comes back from the break, historic steps. The Bahamas joins an international agreement that promises environmental access. And then we hear the story of grief turned into purpose as the Ramming family invites you to celebrate their fallen loved one who lost a battle to epilepsy. We'll tell you all about it when our news weekend returns.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue for me and you, and I say to myself,
The Bahamas has taken an historic step toward environmental justice by officially joining the Escazú Agreement. In a setting symbolic of environmental stewardship, government leaders, diplomats, and advocates gathered at the Bahamas National Trust to witness the Bahamas formally sign the agreement, a first-of-its-kind treaty in Latin America and the Caribbean. Held on World Environment Day, the ceremony marked the country's official accession to the pact, which ensures public access to environmental information, citizen participation, and legal protection for environmental defenders. On hand for the signing, Environmental Minister Von Miller highlighted the significance of the occasion.
The landmark agreement in Latin America and the Caribbean, acting as a critical instrument in the promotion of climate governance and action as a fundamental human right, ensuring the three rights of access to 1, information, 2, participation, and thirdly, justice regarding environmental issues. The agreement also seeks to establish and strengthen capacity and cooperation, contributing to sustainable development.
Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Jamal Strawn, praised the agreement as a powerful tool for national development.
The Bahamas reiterates its commitment to transparency, to accountability, and the meaningful involvement of our people in the decisions that affect their environment, their health, and their future. Our decision to accede to the Escazú Agreement is not symbolic. It is a substantive. It reflects the long-standing values of the Bahamian people, including the respect for nature, the respect for community, and the respect for justice.
This Sunday, a Bahamian family is inviting the community to come together and celebrate the life of a mother, daughter, and friend who passed away earlier this year from a rare condition. Joshua Williams has the story tonight.
But she just left. She just left. And I now have to raise Amari, which I do have a good family support. But it is just that serious where you go in the seizure and you freeze up to where you can't breathe. And there's no way of helping her.
Vanessa Raming is still processing the unimaginable, the sudden loss of her 25-year-old daughter Anisha, who died in February after battling epilepsy. Now Anisha's family and friends are turning pain into purpose, inviting the public to join them this Sunday for a community fun day in her memory.
My daughter and my nephew came up with this idea a week after she passed that we should do like a bake sale, because that's what she did. Due to her condition, she tried to join in a bakery, a restaurant establishment, but due to her seizures, having them is quite dangerous in the kitchen and liabilities. So we just said, just bake from home and sell your wonderful treats. And one day you could open up your own little bakery and little shop and everything, but that, of course, has not come true.
Anisha leaves behind her young daughter Amori. This will be Amori's first birthday without her mother, but the family has planned something special, a tribute called Letters for Amori.
It's a lovely idea to where people who come and who knows Amori, even strangers who come as mothers, can write a special note that she could read earlier, so she do not realize that she is surrounded by love and she is not alone of being do not have a mom anymore.
But the day is about more than just remembrance, as it will also be a fundraising event.
To also bring awareness to epilepsy, to help people understand how the serious of the nature of the condition, and to raise money for Amari's future. Because although my daughter did not have like what we call a regular 9-to-5 job, any little penny that she saved, even if it's 25 cents, $1, she put aside from Amari was born towards her college fund.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks, Joshua. Still to come on Our News Weekend, finding a creator in you. A girls' mentorship group in Grand Bahama is encouraging young girls to aim high. We've got the details from the event, but first,
we take you to beautiful Long Island for the regatta, and we bring you the latest updates from the Diamond. Our sports weekend is up next.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful.
Good evening, I hope you're enjoying this extended holiday weekend. I'm Tage Adderley with our Sports Weekend. Yesterday was Labor Day, which means we're in the heat of the Long Island Regatta in beautiful Salt Pond, Long Island. Here are the results so far. At the time that we're taping this, the unofficial results are in. In the A class, Rough Justice took first place, with New Courageous coming second and Running Tide in third. Susan Chase took B class with Lonesome Dove and Old Boy in tow. Sassy Sue won the C class, Shroud took second, and Woody K came third. Lady Kayla took E class, Anne Marie came second, and Early Bird came third. And in the G class, Muriel's Garden was the winner, with Blue Magic and the 70s coming in second and third, respectively. Now bear in mind, these results are unofficial and subject to change. The regatta wraps up tomorrow, so we should have the full results by then, so be sure to check back in. Now we'll head over to the Diamond, where Bahamians had an active Friday night. Josh Chisholm is ecstatic to be back from the injury reserve. The New York Yankees third baseman put the squad on his back last night, going 3 for 5 with the home run and a couple of singles, and he stole 2 bases to help his team get a 9-6 win over their heated rivals, the Boston Red Sox. Jazz had 4 RBI in the game, 3 of which came on the home run in the bottom of the first, making the difference for the win. Anton Richardson and the New York Mets got the win in the Mile High City, taking down the Colorado Rockies 4-2. Pete Alonso went 1 for 3, driving in a couple of RBI on a double, and Francisco Lindor had a big pinch hit double to drive in 2 more. Down in the minors, Texas Rangers prospect Sebastian Walcott went 2 for 4 with a single and a double, as his AA Frisco Rough Riders fell 4-3 to the Springfield Cardinals, and Christian Robinson went 1 for 5 with a single, and he stole his 15th base of the year, as his AA Amarillo Sod Poodles beat the Tulsa Drillers 6-5. And the Yanks just started a couple minutes ago, and the Mets are on Mountain Time, so they'll go later on tonight. That's a wrap for sports this evening. For Our Sports Weekend, I'm Tej Adderley.
Thanks, Tej. When we come back from the break, the Grand Bahama community unites to give the gift of life in a recent blood donation. That's coming up when Our News Weekend returns.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue. Me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful
Welcome back to Our News Weekend. Cloudy skies outside the Our News studios. Ian McKenzie joins us now with your weekend forecast. Ian.
Thanks, Berthany, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Saturday evening forecast. Gorgeous day on the outside on this lovely holiday weekend. Clear skies at 84. Feels like very warm still at 89. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Temperatures across the country at this time in the nation's second city, Freeport. We have 84s continuing in Marsh Harbor, Great Harbor Key, and in the capital. A pair of 83s in Allenstown and in Governor's Harbor, 85 in Nicholstown, Andros. So Central Bahamas, 85 in Camps Bay, 83s in Georgetown, Deadman's Key, Port Nelson, and in Arthurstown, Kid Island, 84 in Black Point, and 82 on the rain cool temperatures in Coburn Town, San Salvador. Southeast Bahamas, 83 in Duncantown, 84s in Colonel Hill, Abrahams Bay, Providenciales, Turks and Caicos, and Delectable Bay, Auckland's 86 in Matthew-Town and Nagua. The very warm spot this evening. Satellite and radar picture right now, not much to talk about. We have high pressure dominating weather conditions, weak troughing across the central and southeast Bahamas, triggering pockets of 1 or 2 showers across that area. We now look at the tropics right now, pretty much quiet through the next 7 days. However, the Western Caribbean Sea, this is an area that we want to continue to monitor. The National Hurricane Center is looking at a low chance for possible development over the next several days. Northwest and central Bahamas, this time boating, we're looking at winds southerly at 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean, low tide at 12:47 a.m. tomorrow morning, high tide at 6:29 a.m. tomorrow morning. Southeast Bahamas, winds slightly stronger. We have a caution in place for you boaters, and there is a risk of rip currents for you swimmers, winds easterly at 15 to 20 knots, seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your extended forecast, where we have 1 or 2 showers late morning across the capital, clearing out for Whit Monday. Tuesday looking good. We introduced some showers again on Thursday, clearing out by the weekend. Those high temperatures will gradually climb throughout the week back into the 90s into the weekend. Low temperatures hanging in the upper 70s. Stay hydrated, folks. And always remember, too, the UV index is pretty high, so wear some type of skin protection. That's your wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, good night, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. Well, as the need for blood donation continues to grow, the Ministry for Grand Bahamas Collab Unit recently partnered with the Public Hospitals Authority and the Blood Donor Society to host the 3rd annual Gift of Life Blood Drive at the Harold de Gregory Complex in Freeport. The event saw strong support from across corporate Grand Bahama, with groups like the Kiwanis Club of Lucaya, the Pilot Club, Rotaract, the Red Cross, and even recruits from the Royal Bahamas Police Force rolling up their sleeves to give. President of the Blood Donor Society, Ledidra Marsh, says this initiative couldn't have come at a better time, while lab manager at Rand Memorial Hospital, Claudia Clinton, underscored the urgency.
This is a great way to start off going into World Blood Donor Day. That's June 14th. And so we are here partnering with CoLab again to encourage people to come out and give blood because we are saving lives.
We have so many people who, first of all, don't have family and friends who can come and donate blood. And we have so many people who are actually in need. There are people who are ill because they're anemic, they have cancer, there are accidents that we have every time, and the blood bank is always in need.
Some of the donors shared why they decided to support the initiative.
As young professionals, we find a way to give back to the community whichever way we can, and we thought that this was a really good opportunity to do so.
We are here with the registration department to do just that, give back, and to solicit that everyone should come out and give blood.
There are plenty of people who are at risk and who are in dire need, because I know it can save a life.
The AIM High Girls Mentoring Organization on Grand Bahama continuing its mission to shape young lives, guiding girls ages 9 to 18 through the many challenges facing today's youth. Based in the Pinders Point community on Grand Bahama, the organization focuses on personal and professional development through a range of training programs. The group recently hosted its annual girls conference under the theme, The Creator in You. Founder Sabrina Brown says they aren't just mentoring young girls, but preparing them for life.
We know that the Bible begins by saying, in the beginning, God created, right? And so we also know that in Exodus 35 and 35, it speaks about the skills that God has equipped us with. And so what we want these girls to know is that there are gifts and talents in each of them. And we want them to recognize what those gifts and talents are and how to develop them. So today we have 3 dynamic speakers who will help them to do just that.
The event featured guest speakers like entrepreneur Dana Nesbitt, who spoke on innovation and the power of believing in one's dreams, while creative Daydon Charlton took a more personal approach, addressing hygiene and body care in a direct and empowering way.
I wanted to give them representation as a young Black Bahamian entrepreneur and creator. I think that sometimes we don't have enough representation for that. And I wanted to show them that there truly exists a creator within all of us. And it's important to really just channel our inner creator, whatever shape that may take, depending on what they may want to do, but that it is possible.
So I personally thought that it would be pretty much hands-on if I went straight into what it is that everybody kind of jumps around and beat around the bush pertaining to the female body and helping them to be able to embrace themselves.
And our For the Love of Brunch series is back. On this edition, our Danielle Miller is joined by a special guest and takes us to a restaurant she says not only offers one of the best brunches on the island, but also serves up breathtaking views.
This view on a Sunday is absolute simplicity. But what will make it better? An incredible brunch.
One of the most sought-after brunch experiences in the Bahamas is tucked away on Paradise Island at the Four Seasons Ocean Club's signature restaurant, Dune. Last year was my first time brunching at this masterpiece of ambiance, and I was blown away by the service and the food. I didn't think it could get any better, but executive chef Lester Dean and his team have raised the bar. They've expanded the menu to tantalize your taste buds with flavors from around the world.
We added a pasta station, so you can get fresh live pasta, or we have pasta on the station itself. We also have a sushi station now. We also have a Mediterranean station now. And then we have a stir fry station directly in the kitchen. so the guests can walk in the kitchen, place their order, and we'll do it live.
Joining me for the experience, lifestyle journalist Nakia Wells.
I have collaborated with a creative that has an incredible brunch series herself, Nakia.
Hi, thank you so much for joining me this morning for brunch. I'm very excited to eat. I won't even lie.
Well, with that said, let's eat.
And paired with the extensive food and dessert options, bottomless mimosas.
You know, I have my eye on the traditional mimosa or cocktail, you know? I haven't decided yet.
But that cranberry is good. And after that, I could get the orange juice. I am not an alcoholic, y'all. I just like a good mimosa.
To book your brunch experience, visit www.fourseasons.com/Ocean Club. Reporting for our news, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks, Danielle, and thank you for joining us for our News Weekend on behalf of the entire team. I'm Bethany McDermott. Make it a great weekend, everyone.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Italia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.